We had a problem. We wanted to increase the production value of our live streams at the performance horse events that we stream all over the United States without the increased cost of extra help, camera people, hotels, cables, running power cords, and all the headaches that come with adding additional cameras. That's when a colleague of mine introduced me to the BirdDog P200. He showed me that with one Cat5 cable connected over NDI over the network, he could control, receive video, and power that camera, all with one cable. Since then, we have now added 3 BirdDog P200s, the new PH120, as well as 2 BirdDog Studios, bringing them all over the NDI network with one input into our vMix production. This has been huge to help keep cables and help to a minimum, help keep our costs down and increase the production value for our client, which was our ultimate goal. As we travel from show to show, sometimes we only have a couple of hours to get set up. So having the ability to set each camera up with just one cable and not have to source out power outlets, power cords, and everything else that goes along with it, it helped keep our setup time to a minimum while still allowing us to add more cameras for the production. The quality of the camera and the footage is incredible, and being able to control all these over the NDI network with one input makes it a no-brainer for us to use the BirdDog products. With the ability to place these cameras virtually anywhere, it allows us to bring in more camera angles and give us more freedom to place those cameras where we need them the most, whether it's an interview on the side of the arena or the action from up above or down below. We can capture any angle with minimum cables. When one of my dogs chewed through a cable, I emailed BirdDog to see if I could get a replacement cable. Within minutes, they emailed me back and said that they were sending a new replacement cable to the location we were at. It did not affect our production one bit. Thank you, BirdDog. At Performance Horse Central, we're always looking for new ways, better ways to increase our production. BirdDog has helped us do that and bring that quality to our clients. BirdDog, thank you very much. We couldn't do it without you.
What's going on, everybody? I am BirdDog John. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us today. Big show. Probably not as big as last Thursday's show, but still equally as exciting. Yeah, good stuff. We are just kind of getting set up here. Sorry for the late start, but it's all good. We're going to double check a couple things here because that's how it rolls. But hey, let me know you're here. Send me a message in the chat. I'm just going to check on Twitch. All right, audio is all right there. What's going on, Senseless? How are you, man? Ooh, BirdDog Brayton hanging out in the background along with BirdDog Tim. What's going on, boys? Phil's here. It's always fun. It's good to have Phil. Yeah, we got fun stuff planned. Let me see. Let me just double check a few things here on some audio side of some stuff here. All right. All right, let's see what we can do here about this. First time chatter, BirdDog Brayton. How's it going? he's my new guy here at the office. So that's always good. I want to just check the audio. Michael Graves, good to see you again. All right, cool. All right, that's working on Twitch. And now we need to figure out what is going on with the audio from here. Okay, 1 second. Let's try this one more time. Check, check, check. All right, hopefully that's come back for you. Oh, that's weird. Okay, so, so the exciting news today is I'm bringing on a special guest. He's been with us once before. Hey, you got the nice RE20? Yep, I did. I debuted that on Tuesday. And, I think it makes a big difference. So, hey, we've got a special guest today. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce BirdDogJake, who's hanging out with us. live from Arizona, I think, if that's right. Uh-oh, now I don't have your audio. Hang on one second. Let me fix this. Hang on. So, good times, everybody. So we've been having audio transmission issues this morning. I don't know if you can tell or not. Just a moment ago, he wasn't receiving mine, and now I'm not receiving his. So let me fix this here. But hey, everybody say hey to BirdDogJake. He's here. Hey, first time viewer, first time chatter, SMA05 from Johnson City, Tennessee. Welcome. Everybody give a little shout out to BirdDogJake while we work on his audio real quick. Hang on one second. All right, Jake, I'm going to just put you in the background here real quick. And then I've got you up on studio monitor, so let's make a reconnection here. See if this won't fix it for us. Oops. Yoink. All right, just give me a second here. So Jake is one of our SE guys. He's one of our sales engineers, and the goal with Jake is to he answers the questions prior to sale, the technical questions prior to sale, so that it doesn't get to us after in support. So him and CJ are our new guys. They started earlier this year, and once we can pull up his feed, we can ask him more direct questions. All right, I'm going to restart Studio Monitor real quick. So good times. Hey, thanks for showing up, everybody. Excited that you're here. We, of course, qualifying sales? Yeah, I know. Crazy idea, right? But yeah, good stuff. Hey, Jake, can I have you just restart that connection altogether? Just shut it down. Shut out the vMix output and then restart it on your side. I did that gig for years. You did? Hey, thanks for the shout out on Tom's show yesterday. So yeah, I was supposed to hang out with Tom, and he said he sent me a bunch of emails, and I didn't get any emails. So maybe he was sending it to the wrong John at bird-dog.tv, because there is another John at JOHN. What's going on, Jake? I think I have you now. Yep, I got you. All right, let's bring Jake back in. Let's see if we can do this. See if we can hear him. Hey, Jake, how's it going?
Hey.
Hey, there it is.
Awesome. There we go.
Got you. All right, now we got to check that the audio sync is right.
Cool.
And let's pull this up on Twitch. I'm just going to listen.
Yeah.
Let's see if you're actually here.
Hope so.
Yeah. I hear your voice.
Awesome.
It's good stuff. All right, so confirmed. You are on the show. Welcome. Perfect. BirdDogJake,
Thanks
everybody.
So official.
Round of applause. Let's do the little party. That's for you, man. Thanks for joining me today. Appreciate it. It's always fun to have somebody to talk to. So cool. All right, let's dive into this. So we're using BirdDogCloud today to bring Jake in, and besides the audio issues, it's been pretty consistent. We actually tested this out. Was that yesterday or Tuesday?
2 days ago.
A couple days ago. And yeah, it didn't have much issue. I rearranged the way that it looks on the screen so that when I look at Jake, I'm actually looking in his general direction. And so that's it's the little things that matter in life, I guess.
Yeah.
You need a visual audio indicator in the layout. It's true. I have one in Studio Monitor, so as soon as we reconnected, his audio meter showed up there, and now I can see it here. So, anyways,
hey, Michael, how you doing today?
Always good stuff. So yeah, Michael, hey, thanks for the shout out on Tom's show. I was supposed to be on Tom's show yesterday, and he sent me a bunch of emails, I guess, and then halfway through his show, Eamon jumped on and was like, hey, we should jump on Tom's show because he's showing Cam Control 3.0. So Jake showed up, and CJ showed up, and I showed up, and Eamon showed up. So we all rolled up onto that show and started answering questions or whatever. But then I logged on to the Facebook feed because he was answering questions on Facebook. And lo and behold, I had like 12 messages from Tom over Facebook. So that's my bad. I guess I don't normally log into Facebook very often. And so I missed that opportunity. So I'm going to have to connect with him after he gets out of surgery, which is happening like today or tomorrow, I guess. He announced on his show yesterday that he's having knee replacement or something like that. So he's going to be not available. What was this? Is Camp Control free? Yes, it is. We have been chatting about Camp Control for several days since we launched 3.0 about a week ago. And we had a huge show last Thursday where we had like 70 people watching. And then we did a live demo after we did an interview with Eamon over BirdDogCloud /Teams. This setup with Jake is actually a lot cleaner than how we did this with Eamon. So I brought Eamon in over Teams. I had Teams generate NDI, and then I brought him in that way. The issue I had with that was Teams, when the bandwidth changes the resolution of the stream. And so then randomly Eamon would his picture would go super small and then it would get like way too big. And so when you're setting your scenes inside of whatever program you're using, it keeps changing the resolution and resizing his image. So that was really annoying. With Cloud, I'm not going to have to worry about that, I don't think, because it's not going to resize the image that's coming across. So we shouldn't have that problem with Jake today. So yeah, Camp Control is free, Michael. The tracking thing is a killer feature. I 100% agree.
It really is.
Yeah, we have been kind of really excited about that. I used it on Sunday on a stream I was doing for a congregation Sunday morning, and I actually showed it on Tuesday on the show, just kind of the results. And of course, you always figure out how to do it better after. So that's what happened. I ended up running it, and then we didn't broadcast the class that they were doing, and I was monkeying around with it in class, and lo and behold, I figured out some stuff. So I'm going to do the stream again this Sunday, and I'll implement the things I learned, and then we'll show that on Tuesday.
Hey, John, what cameras do you have at that location?
We're running a JVC on a Mini, and then we're running a P200 for the tracking stuff. So I'm tempted to take maybe some of these BirdDog support cameras that we use as our demos and set up a couple of angles. It's set up backwards right now. The JVC is kind of off to the side where the where the desk is that we do the streaming from. Really, that is a stationary camera, so it should be in the middle. It's like a PF120 almost.
That should be your locked off.
Yeah, and then bring the PTZ over to the side and let it do the tracking, because it doesn't really matter when you're doing the bust shot like this image that's both our images here. It doesn't really matter. So I need to move them, and I'm tempted to take another P200 over there and set it off to the side and then run it in tracking and then just do some still shots with the ceiling mounted one. But anyway,
good plan.
In a perfect world. Here's something interesting that I've been toying around with. So we run ProPresenter 7 with from Renewed Vision, and ProPresenter 7 allows you to output NDI for slides or for your like video feed or whatever, so you can bring it into your stream that way. Here's the problem. We use NDI for the alpha channel for the lower thirds, for lyrics and for whatever, the text that they want to put up. All good there. But when we add a second output, which is a full screen output of the slides, so say we have a guest speaker or minister comes in, he wants to show like his PowerPoint, okay, because he still lives in the 1980s. And so he makes this PowerPoint, we import it into ProPresenter, and then we show it on the full screen. Well, if we generate NDI, a second NDI stream out of ProPresenter 7, it slows down the clicking to the next slide function of ProPresenter in general. And we've noticed that it's like a 3-second delay if you're generating a full screen, because what it's doing is rendering the whole thing over NDI, and it has to do it for every slide. So the lower thirds is still functions, but the whole program slows down and it's almost unusable. So what I'm going to try this Sunday is interrupt the confidence monitor for ProPresenter 7. I'm going to interrupt that with a studio and do a loop out of that into the screen, and then just capture the NDI raw. Let the studio generate the NDI on the network, and not let ProPresenter have to do it.
ProPresenter deal with it.
Yeah, and
Right,
see if that
it's already
speeds it
dealing
up.
with all of its program and everything that it has to deal with. So that's a
Yeah,
good idea.
exactly. I don't. There's something, and maybe I'm just biased here, but there's something about buying hardware to do the NDI stuff. Like, so that's what BirdDog does, right? We make hardware devices, and that generates the NDI, but you're not utilizing like your computer to do it. I find the drawbacks too significant for using software-based NDI generation. I would rather let a piece of hardware do it. So we're going to just test it out with a studio and see if that loop out function works. But whoa, Flipper, what is going on, man? Yes, it's been like an age since you've been around, and like months and months and months. Hey, what's going on? Great to see you. All right, wait, I missed a bunch of stuff in the chat. Sorry. I get talking, and you know, and now I have a guest on the thing, so now I'm totally ignoring the chat. I did that gig years ago. Audio indicator, got it. It's cam control free. Yes, cam control's free. Available here. Thank you, Brayton. Long time, and yep, hardware is way more deterministic. I agree. I just find it to be like much more reliable. And then, you know, you bring in the NDI over the network, and all you're really concerned about is the processing power. Like with OBS, for example. Whoa, my image is off here on this side. Is it like off on this side? Yeah, a little bit. You bring it into OBS, and then it's basically network processing and CPU usage that you're stuck with. But anyway, there we go. So, Jake, let's talk about your new role at BirdDog and what it is that you do. Why don't you let people know kind of what you're up to?
Yeah, so the sales engineers here at BirdDog, we answer all of your pre-sales questions that come in. So we're able to help with workflow and design for your specific installations, whether that be a live production, whether that be a production studio, or even the house of worship or esports that we've been dealing with. So with NDI, as you guys all already know, the possibilities are endless in terms of the different types of productions and the routing and what can be done. So naturally, there are a lot of questions. So you guys can forward those over to us before you purchase your BirdDog products, so that way we can work with you to go through your specific scenario and just to make sure that that your punch list and our punch list kind of work together, and that way you guys have a successful production.
Yeah, so we've already seen a huge reduction in just questions that are like, "Hey, I bought all this stuff and I can't get it to work correctly." You used to get just so many of those, and really, it's just because the knowledge of how it all works together and how it sings together isn't really in the hands of the salespeople of like retailers. They understand the concept of it, but they're not like doing it all the time, and they're not designing it all the time and all that. So now that we have, Dawn and Jake and CJ here in the US, and then Phil and Sebastian, and then Jason, in other places, not in North America, we got a whole team of guys running sales that understand the concept on the front end of things. It actually is generating a lot less support on the back end. And
Great.
There's also, just in the few months you guys have been here, but there's also then like a huge knowledge base that's growing within the retailer realm, because people understand. They've had conversations with sales guys now who are available. When it was just Dawn, like that dude was constantly on calls, and how deep the technical, how deep he could go in the technical realm was kind of just limited to his experience. And so now that we've got a couple of other guys that are also experimenting and growing that knowledge base at a fairly significant pace, and also Jake and CJ and those guys work with us over here at support fairly regularly, and so if stuff comes up or they're on calls with people, they can try and reach out to us, and we try to get back to them in a timely manner. But yeah, it's good stuff. It's it's helping out a lot on the support side of things, at least, and there's a lot less.
Yeah, glad to hear it.
Yeah, confusion and questions about how it actually works when you start unboxing it and plugging it in. This was particularly challenging because you guys all know, the regulars to this show, you guys all know that I'm a big proponent of DHCP implementation, of doing layer 2, layer 3 on the switch level, and that eliminates the need for, layer 3 in particular, eliminates the need for additional routing and all that. You can set up kind of an isolated network, have internet come into that network from an outside LAN or WAN, and then run your show or production off that way. And it helps significantly when it comes to implementing run and gun. So you've got a guy, he's rolling up into a hotel. He doesn't want to plug into the hotel network because who knows what he's going to get, right? But if he's got a layer 3 switch, if he's got a Netgear 4250, now he can roll up, plug into his isolated, and then just make it work and plug into the WAN for his internet or however he wants to do this. I've actually seen guys run shows off of hotspots. I wouldn't recommend it, but it can be done.
I've done it in the past, as well as the LTE routers. So
that's
awesome.
See, that's and unfortunately that's not something I'm doing on a regular basis. So whether or not we can say definitely do that, but now we've got more people in the field who have done it. Now, Jake, in a second I want to touch on where you came from, because you interacted with BirdDog with support.
Yes.
I knew you before we hired you in a capacity
of some bug reports.
Yes. Yeah, I'm surprised they hired you in sales and not QA, because you were doing a lot of QA before you came over.
Totally.
Tell us kind of where you come from.
Was specifically because I was using our BirdDog products in live and remote productions. So before joining the BirdDog team, I was working at a video production rental facility in Manhattan. So from there, we were constantly renting out gear like Sony FX9s, Arri lenses and cameras and whatnot. Pretty much all of the gear that you need to run a full commercial production. Obviously, when COVID hit, as all of you guys know, New York City pretty much shut down completely. It was a dead zone. It's definitely strange to see Fifth Ave totally empty. But with that, the business still needed to survive, right? So we still needed to do productions, and there were clients that were looking into this whole remote world and sending out cameras to a production and being able to control them remotely. So I personally grabbed all of the PTZ cameras I could, Panasonic, BirdDog, Sony sent us some cameras, and I did my own Coke and Pepsi challenge. And from there, I landed at BirdDog, which was great. So from there, I got connected onto the whole BirdDogCloud realm and that ecosystem. And then we were developing specific production workflows to incorporate, that remote live needed recording while pretty much the world was shut down. So we created some remote fly packs with some P100s, P200s, Dante audio interfaces so that we could remotely control gain and audio, as well as remote control lights. So we pretty much had a fully remote studio that we could ship in some Pelican cases. And then as long as there was someone there to assist with plugging in their local internet, we were up and running because it was our network, like John was saying before. We don't want to rely on someone's, Linksys router that they have in their apartment when we really needed to make sure that, these PTZ controls and NDI was operating as smoothly as it should. And then from there, BirdDogCloud literally saved that business, to be completely honest. We did some pretty major productions with that I'd be happy to share with you guys. And it was, it's a good fun time. And from there, I essentially became a BirdDog expert because I was living and breathing NDI and cameras and whatnot. So that's how I joined the team.
Yeah, so we went out and found Jake. Made him an offer he couldn't refuse.
Yeah.
Actually, when you signed on with BirdDog, then it gave you the opportunity to leave New York, right? Like, so
It did.
you live kind of in the West now, and not.
I do, and that was like a good opportunity to start to uproot and explore the rest of the United States, because I was locked in New York, and I was definitely tired of those blizzards. But I think you guys get it pretty worse by you, right, John?
Yeah, it can be. I mean, the past few winters have been a bit mild for Michigan, but I'm from Toronto, so I'm used to strong winters. And I wanted to live in Northern Ontario for a while, which they have even stronger winters. So, but anyways, yeah, it hasn't been too bad around here. Yeah, why, Jake? What's wrong with Linksys routers? Says Tim.
Too funny, Tim.
Yeah, we don't need to go into that, but anything with Link in the name, just run screaming into the night. Let's get back to Phaser Flipper real quick. So slightly out of action, but Church Stream is going okay. Looking forward to updating the cameras, playing with cam control. Can I ask if the Xbox controller works with vMix and P100 for cam control? Would this be an option with cam control if I run that? Sorry, I'm out of the loop. So you mean have an Xbox controller for P100?
Through the NDI Studio monitor. I haven't personally tested if both can be open at the same time. I assume that they can, because it's essentially you're sending those different controls to the camera. But hey, that's a good question.
Yeah. Interesting.
It's not directly available in cam control because it does require Studio Monitor to jump in and right click and choose that the USB Xbox controller. That option isn't available in cam control.
Gotcha. Yeah, I need to play with that more, I guess, because some people are still using it. Like, there's a handful of folks that are still doing that with just Studio Monitor, but now that there's cam control inside cam control, there's control inside vMix, obviously TriCaster, and like a bunch of the major. I mean, it's not available in OBS, which is what I'm using here. Mm-hmm. I'm using Streamlabs OBS, which is not OBS, I know, but I'm not using, like, I don't really need control. I'm not doing a lot of moving around. If I am, now I'm using Cam Control 3, so which is doing it. Cool. You'll remember I'm really cheap. I can do the Studio Monitor thing, but I hope that'll work. Well, hey, Cam Control 3.0 is free, so that's right within your budget. If you have a P100 and you update to LTS, then Cam Control 3.0 should work. So, hey, I'm from west of Thunder Bay. Whoa. Now, there is some cold weather sometimes up there in Thunder Bay. But I schooled in Toronto. All right. So, yeah, it's kind of my neck of the woods a little bit. I say Toronto just like I say, well, I live near Detroit, but I really don't live near Detroit. Like, I live north of Detroit. I'm not actually in the city, but most people don't know the suburbs and whatever of around the Detroit area. So, but yes, so if you went to school in Toronto, then I was from the Brampton/Georgetown area, which is more southeast of actual Toronto. So, hey, Flipper, anytime, man. Thanks for coming back. I appreciate it. Yeah, thanks for hanging out with us. Cool. So, yeah, we are here today. We can answer sales questions because I've got somebody on the hook to do that. But, of course, we can talk support. And, I do want to ask, Jake, so what is your camera and microphone setup over there in your studio? Because you've just recently set all this up, right?
I did. Happy to go through a demo of everything as well.
Yeah, what do you got?
So right now I'm using a Sennheiser MK E600 shotgun microphone. That is being plugged into a RedNet Focusrite X2P, which is a Dante audio interface. So both my Dante and my NDI are on the same profile in that M4250 switch. Confirming that works great. And then the camera that I have over here is a P4K. Something that I love about this P4K, which not a lot of people know about, is that it has a filter thread on it, and it's when I come from the video production film background, those guys have filters on everything, whether that be an IR-ND, whether that be a black pro mist, blue streak filters, anything like that. So I currently have a black pro mist quarter filter on this, so that helps soften some highlights and gets rid of some of that digital look that the filmmakers kind of see, that at least are used to, recording to tape and reels. And then from here, I also have a couple things that I'd like to show you guys. So I'm going to pop over to, let's see, this router demo that I have over here. Let's see if that shows up.
Yep.
So on this scene that I have over here, obviously we have these two cameras. The one on the left, this feed is the keyboard router with the LTS update. So if I go in and I jump and I pull to cam 3, which I have is my P4K, we have that right here. Right. We can also jump to this P200 that I have next to me. So then this is my scene. So this is what I'm looking at, John. So I have my vMix production right in front of me on an LG monitor. I have that P4K right behind it, so I can see this as a confidence. And then I have my softboxes and my hot lights, right? And then up here is that P100 on some auto pulls. All right, so that's how I get this top-down shot.
Nice. Yeah, I've got something similar. It's in a scene. I don't have the fancy way to pull up dual feeds. How are you doing that? Is that vMix output?
This is the two feeds are created from through the layers in vMix. So I have a black transparent layer that started, and then if you jump into the layers on vMix, I loaded both the keyboard router on the left and the P100 that's looking down at the keyboard on the right.
Nice.
I really like vMix because you really get to customize these views and whatnot. So yeah, and then also I have these function keys assigned to control vMix. So if I want to switch over to, let's see, this to my other computer monitor, here's the Cloud Connect matrix that John and I have going on right now that is getting my feed over to him.
Yep. Yeah, it's a little busy. That's the BirdDog.
Yes.
That's the bird.
This is what it looks like when you
grid.
have a lot of endpoints. But something in here which is great is that we can jump down to all endpoints and specifically just look at the US endpoints if that's needed. So these are called endpoint groups. And it's definitely very important if you have.
Could you show where to put those together so that they can
Sure.
see that?
Yeah, happy to. So inside the More tab, you have, let's see. Inside your endpoint groups, I can go over to Edit Endpoint. Here they are. So then from here, you can edit the endpoint groups and select the endpoints. Here it is. So any of these available endpoints can be shifted over to the left to be inside this US endpoint group. I don't believe we have any setup for the Australian endpoints. Oh no, we do. We have these 5, right? We'll have Dan's computer, Dave's from support.
Yeah, that's another guy I need to get on here, except he's usually asleep when
He
it's
is.
time for this show. I'm going to do what I can here to make your screen
Oh,
a whole
cool.
lot bigger.
I see what you're doing over there.
Yeah. Let's see if we can't increase this. So, all right, here, let's try this scene. See if this works. Oh, that was
That should
a
be better
very
for you
fast
guys.
edit. I'm still here. Jake's still here. Wait, he's over here.
Yep.
But yeah, now we can see his feed a little bit better. So
Yeah.
Cool. So yeah, you can group if you have a lot of endpoints, especially if you're doing something. Oh, hang on. Let me just check this feed. I like to double check. Okay, yeah. So if you've got a lot of endpoints, or you're installing the same license on a lot of endpoints, but then they're all in different locations, and you need them for specific shoots, so you want to put them in like groups or whatever, you can do that just like what we're doing here. Now, obviously, BirdDog has a lot of endpoints. We've got them all over the world. So when people want to see demos, especially in Jake's setup here, he can pull them up real quick and show all that. So it's pretty cool stuff. Where did my other thing here go? Oh, apparently I did not duplicate this. All right. Well, anyways, we've got. I guess I need to edit this. Sorry, screwed things up. All good. I clicked on duplicate and it definitely didn't duplicate. So, whoops-a-daisy.
Got it. I think it might be a good idea to chat how through Cloud we are getting my feed over to you.
Yeah.
So through that, we're actually using Cloud Connect. So in Cloud, there are two options. SRT is the main backbone of Cloud, but we also have Cloud Connect, which is specifically for that low latency return video and audio feeds. So that way, John's getting my vMix production output within maybe 2 frames, 3 frames of latency through the network, through the public internet. And so that connection is over here. So if we pull this up, I have my vMix computer sending out an output at 3 megabits per second over a VP8 codec to my specific Cloud Connect group named BirdDogJake, and we can see that the state is connected. Just to show you guys a couple different options what we have in Cloud Connect, you can create a multi-view directly. So you can select all of your available NDI sources on your network, and it will create an auto grid. So if you have 4 sources, it'll place 4. If you want to have a specific 2x8, which would be great for a program preview, and then the 8 screens and sources that you have, there's that option as well. As well as being able to select the bit rate that's going through. So this is being encoded so that it can be transmitted to John. We also have different codecs available, like H.264, as well as the open source Google's VP8 and VP9 connections. Lastly, we get to choose what Cloud Connect group we like to put this in. And then those available sources are in these Cloud Connect groups. So I could jump in. And hey, John, I don't know if you've shown this on Twitch yet, but this is my favorite thing. So this Cloud Connect group, you can create your own custom branding for the recipient to see. So if you're doing a commercial for Coca-Cola, and then later you're doing a commercial for Pepsi, you want to make sure that the agency is jumping into the right production control room, right?
Right.
But from here, you get to change your logo. You get to change the background buttons. One of the other guys, other people that we work with, Ideal Systems, has already done this. So they loaded their logo and their color scheme specific for their productions. So then if I log in over here, currently John is looking at this vMix output. So right now it's locked. However, I'm also creating a multi-view through this Cloud Connect, which I showed you guys before, and I can pull that feed up.
I was going to say I could drop that probably, right?
I'd rather you not, because that's the actual feed that you're pulling into Twitch right now.
So if we want to say goodbye to Jake, I could drop that.
So
feed.
if we want to do that, exactly. But then I'd be able to look at it. So that's
Right.
a part of this one-to-one connection. And that goes through a turn server for that connection. There is a possibility to send it to a specific content delivery network, so you could have multiple people view that view that feed, as well as embed it into your own web page. But we felt that it was needed to give you guys that direct control right in BirdDogCloud.
Right.
Right. So this feed is a multi-view that was created from this connection. So now the way that John is pulling the NDI feed into his production, up at the top, so this is a connection matrix, right? So if we go across from BirdDogCloud, we could see my laptop, and I currently don't have anything playing. We have a link over here. This is me pulling John's studio into my NDI realm. And then the last one is sending Cloud Connect to US Support Office Studio Computer, which is what John's using. So if we pull that up, we can see my vMix output that was from my Cloud Connect stream. I get to also change the name of the receiving end of what he sees, so he can specifically know that that's my feed coming in. And then now this is turning that WebRTC Cloud Connect link into an NDI on John's local network. And then from there, it's like I'm there, right, John?
Yeah, the nice thing too on the OBS side, you guys know that I've had audio sync dilemmas and what have you all forever. The nice thing is that his video and audio come over together, and so it's the same delay for any NDI feed. So we set it around 300, 360, somewhere in there, which is pretty average, which is the same here as it is at the church that I work for on Sundays. And so it's the same over the same platform. So we're not monkeying with trying to sort out, okay, his audio is going to be less or worse or better or whatever. It's the same thing for any NDI stream. So we have this NDI stream coming in on a P200. Jake's NDI stream is coming over the cloud from Arizona, and I set it basically the same delay, and we're pretty close, I think.
Yep.
I think.
And then if John had a Dante network or Dante audio devices or Dante controller installed on his computer, I could directly send my input from my RedNet over to John directly. So with the additional Dante license, we can do uncompressed audio over the internet, which is extremely amazing as a musician and audio engineer.
That we could
pull multi-tracks, mix, edit remotely. There's a lot of possibilities there.
Well, and that goes back to the core principle, right, of like turning things into ones and zeros. Now you can send it anywhere, and as long as you're not doing like iMeg or whatever over long distances with cloud, for the most part, we could run a production system like this, have conversations back and forth. Like I'm listening to his audio feed, he's listening to mine, and there's very little delay. The conversation's not disconnected or like discombobulated like it used to be when they do satellite, satellite news broadcasts and stuff, where the person's sitting out on the street and doing this number while it's dead air.
Yep.
It's
we don't have
pretty
to wait
much
for that
instantaneous.
1 or 2 seconds to go through.
Yeah.
And then there are a couple places called the Switch, which accepts SRT connections, which has been a really go-to for a lot of productions that they use them as their content delivery network. So you can send that directly through an SRT output right in cloud.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff. And it really does. I mean, the remote production stuff. I mean, and here's the thing, right? This all came out right as like pandemic hit. It launched in October, and pandemic started in March, and so it was like perfect timing, the perfect storm for a terrible situation. But it became very popular very fast, and it also required us to do a fair bit of development to ensure the robustness that was going to be needed for this type of product. But now we're in this position with BirdDogCloud where, it's rock solid. NDI Bridge works, but cloud gives you so much more in terms of, and maybe Jake, that's something we could talk about, the differences between cloud and bridge and what you get with BirdDogCloud.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, with BirdDogCloud, we definitely have a lot of options that are coming out as well.
Yep.
I think I'm able to show you guys this, but we also have a an online PTZ control board. So let me switch back over to that feed.
Yeah, and let me change out this so we can see your screen a little more here.
Just to everyone know, BirdDogCloud trial is free and fully working. There is a watermark that exists over the top of your SRT connections that go through, but I highly recommend, if you guys need a cloud type of solution, to just get the trial and just monkey around with it and see if that works for you guys. But specifically, let's say you have your cameras installed at a venue or whatnot, and you need to quickly jump into the site, and remotely, of course, and adjust things. We have this PTZ control board available for you to open up the camera and use your mouse to initiate these controls, right? So instead of having to have your computer jump in and actually make that SRT connection back to your production laptop that's remote, you can jump in this way, as well as launch presets and store them as well. In addition to this control board, you have the ability to pull up any source that is an endpoint in your company profile. So we can see that CJ is listed over here in my control board, because if his P100 was online, I'd be able to control that there as well. So you can create a specific control board for the operator or for the production or for the location.
Yeah, can you show how to enable that on a camera, like the PTZ control? Just so that we could kind of like give like a ground up demonstration on how that connects.
So on a, looks like we're sending, hey John, it looks like you're sending your P200 over to CJ.
Oh, fantastic.
Like this connection. So
that's actually probably a connection from the past, but yes, that's all good.
But let's look at this connection. From here, this is where you would enable that PTZ control. So there are some situations where you want that control to be sent over, and there are some situations where you don't. You know, that you don't want the receiving user to be able to pull it up in NDI Studio Monitor and adjust your framing.
Right.
But sometimes that's exactly what you need. From here in the audio section underneath, this is where we tie in that additional Dante license, where we can flip audio that it currently exists on NDI and turn it into a Dante receiver at the other end, or vice versa. We can take our Dante sources, like my microphone, I can merge that with the P200 that I want to send, and then at CJ's home, if he doesn't have a Dante network, that could just flip back over into NDI, so he can build that into his vMix production. But let's say they did have a Dante network, then you would be able to send those multi-tracks through the Dante connection matrix, and our cameras and devices show up right there. One of the most important things to realize about cloud is that we are going over the public internet, right? So we need to take in consideration the upload and download bandwidth of each site. So if your remote site, let's say I sent out a kit over to Atlanta, Georgia, that, let's say, only had 100 megabits up, 100 down and only 20 up. So we were limited by the amount of sources that we could send based on the upload bandwidth at the location. But from there, we get to come into our configurations and specifically build a profile that would be advantageous for that location. So I currently have a default Jake as well. That's a 3 megabits per second connection. I have that specifically because I have a partner here who teaches piano remotely. So I want to make sure that our upload bandwidth is shared between all of us, so that way her piano students don't get booted off the internet
Right.
from over here while we're trying to do these types of demos. But if your studio location, which most likely will have like at least a 500 or 1 gig uplink, that's not something that you have to worry about. And these
Awesome.
configurations are the SRT configurations that would be going over. And if we want to just check out this page.
Yeah.
And then it's also dependent on the type of computer and equipment you have. So whether that be using CPU encoding or GPU encoding with NVIDIA cards.
Yeah, and for the record, mine is encoding over CPU, which is the lesser of the two preferred methods as far as I'm concerned. Because the GPU encoding, it's not one for one. The GPU utilizes, and this is for NVIDIA or QuickSync, by the way, and so the GPU encoding utilizes the hardware acceleration that's built into the NVENC encode process. And so you could use it for encode or decode, by the way, and it utilizes that a whole lot better than CPU encode. So I'm running my CPU pretty hard. You can see the CPU on Jake's screen there in terms of what the percentage is that it's being run. But
he's at
if you're running CPU, you're going to get
70%.
less streams overall. But if you have an NVIDIA card, which good luck getting one of those right now, or if you have a QuickSync Intel card, you can leverage those to do the encoding, and it is a lot faster, a lot better, and a little bit more consistent. Sorry, Jake.
Yeah. No, it's all good. I agree. I like using the video cards for the video processing. It only makes sense, right?
CJ says, tell Jake to stop hogging all the cloud endpoint licenses. CJ, I can help you with that if you need some licenses, but I can we can handle that for you. Oh, hey, I just want to jump over here.
Sure.
I want to jump to the chat real quick. Flipper's still with us. So, hey, I just saw that BirdDog Play devices. The pre-order is a very reasonable price. Any launch date? The answer is, Jake?
Let's see. From what we heard, it's still Q1. We're trying to navigate these, the logistics.
The component shortage stuff.
That's, that's every single company from car manufacturers to us are dealing with. Still Q1, so I have good hopes for that.
Yeah, and that's, maximum just a couple months away, so that would be awesome. Yep. I can't wait to get my hands on one because I think it's going to be a lot of fun, first of all. And it's going to enable a bunch of options in terms of what you can do with it. So that little ARM process that came out with NDI 5. Now, granted, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jake, this is an NDI 5 product, correct? Because the ARM process came out with the launch of NDI 5, so I'm assuming that Play will be NDI 5.
I believe Play will be the first official NDI 5 product that we're releasing.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's correct. Can you bring NDI in with Dante audio, for example, to play a stream of a church service in a something? Am I just an idiot and I don't know what that word is?
Here, checking this out.
But yeah, no, you should be able to bring it across with NDI Bridge, for example. And depending on how you want to do it, I guess you would need to... It would be better if you're using cloud, I guess. But you're saying using the Play to bring across a stream with Dante audio and show it on the BirdDog Play. I don't know if that's out of the box compatible yet. Jake, do you know?
I think it should be because right now Dante is enabled through Cloud Connect. So I can send if I wanted to just send an audio only file, I can send my Dante left and right channels to a Cloud Connect stream that's just audio, and then have that Play decode that audio.
Gotcha. But it would need to be going through cloud to do that.
Yes, for Cloud
Not
Connect,
NDI Bridge.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know. Okay, and then he says, another question while I'm here. Hopefully you're still here, Flip. I'm using Dante for our church audio. Is there a way to get this onto an individual's phone so they can listen like a T-loop without needing the rubbish loop, which I've tried and couldn't get working?
Technically, depends on the bandwidth and your Wi-Fi signals, because if you do want to have them listen on the phone, I have done audio into the Sienna iOS monitor, just to confirm that it was going through that way. You might need to flip that feed into an NDI HX encoding through NDI Bridge, just to lower that bandwidth, so that way you don't have that full 100 megabits going to the phone over Wi-Fi.
Right.
But I would check
which
that
would
out.
be impressive if it would keep up at 100 megs.
Totally. But yeah, so I've definitely used NDI Bridge local transmission mode to flip full bandwidth NDI files or streams into HX, so that they can be viewed on an iPad or monitors like that.
Michael Graves says, hey, people forget about QuickSync, but it does work well if your GPU has it. I haven't done the compare test. Have you done that, Jake, where you run the NVENC over and then the QuickSync and see what the difference is?
No, I haven't personally tested.
I guess I would need a
them.
computer with an Intel GPU.
Yep.
But yes, the QuickSync is on there. I mean, obviously we gravitate towards the NVENC stuff. I have a computer at home that when I was doing this show from home about a year ago now, which I cannot believe that I've been in this office for a whole year. But when we were doing that, I was using NVENC to encode for cloud because I had dual GPUs that were both NVIDIA. And it worked pretty well. I could get a couple of streams out of both of them. And yeah, that was a pretty solid setup, and it kept the computer would run really fairly efficient. Like you would notice a definite increase when the GPUs were running because they generate a lot of heat, but over the CPU usage, yeah, it would run a lot cooler. So that would it's a great feature that's kind of hidden in not even hidden, but it's just we don't recommend it enough, I don't think, in terms of if you can find an NVIDIA card, use it because it's pretty great. BirdDog Tim says, hey, Flipper, there are some Wi-Fi listening solutions from some vendors, e.g. Sennheiser, although they do have latency and also loop amps with Dante inputs. So Tim has all sorts of Dante experience, which I should just bring him on the show now that this is all up and running. Jake has got this all working just perfectly with bringing NDI sources in from remote locations. And so now I can do that and interview people, which is pretty great. And you guys don't have to listen to me talk for an hour and a half every time. So, yeah, that's pretty fun. Somebody sent me, I think it was Tim actually, he said, man, I forgot how big those RE20 microphones are. Yeah, they're a doozy. There you
They
go.
really are. They're great, though.
The audio quality is great. And so long ago, I had an Apex microphone, and it was fine, but it was here in my face. And so all the videos, if you look back on the videos that are 2 years old, the ones that I did for my home studio, they're fine, but and they have great audio, but you can't see me. And so I traded it for a NTG2 shotgun mic, a Rode NTG2, and that worked really well. And however, it picked up the noise behind me, directly behind me, and in that little studio, that was okay. And then I brought it here, and it worked all right, although I did find that it caught more room sound than I thought it would. And then I switched to a Behringer C2 microphone, which is basically just a cardioid pickup, and it's also fine. And then I upgraded to this, so it's been quite the journey with the microphones on this show, which is why I was always I'm curious what people are using now. If you saw our show a week ago with Eamon, he was using earpods. So if you want to see the audio quality on earpods, there you go. And now we have a guy with a proper studio who's using a Sennheiser. What did you say? It was a
MKE 600.
600.
Surprisingly, it's one of the best shotguns I've ever actually used.
Really? Okay,
Yeah,
so this is kind of in my wheelhouse. Let's just take a look. People get upset when I don't go to Sweetwater, so I'm going to go there. Oh, this is an advertisement, though.
Sweetwater's great. That's where I get all my music equipment from.
I'm actually in the market I want to try a B5 Behringer mic because I bought those C2s for that congregation that I work with. I use them as audience microphones, basically, just to provide some ambient on the stream. And I didn't buy them for them. They're mine. I bought them for me because I'm a microphone junkie. But I use them over there, and at this point, I'm like, I just want to leave them over there. Well, I use one of them in my office when I'm doing, team meetings or remote assist sessions or whatever. So I keep having to bring one home and bring one back and like move it around, and I don't want to do that. Well, the B5 is a little bit different microphone. It has a different head on it where you could do, an actual. The pickup pattern is different. It can either do a 360 or it can do basically like a 45. So tempted to try that out, but I haven't gotten there yet, and I can't find anybody that has one that will deliver it within reason. So hey, let's jump over and look at this 600
capsules.
Yes, yeah, it's got the interchangeable capsule, which is kind of nice. Man, I'm loving this RE20 though. This is awesome. So this is that MKE 600 shotgun that Jake is running.
Yeah, for
329.
For the on location boom microphone shoots, this was a good alternative to the Neumann. I'm trying to remember which model it was, but there was a great Neumann shotgun that we were using, but that needed to be sent in for repairs. So once we switched over and got these, they were great.
Yeah. Yeah, I really liked using the NTG2 just because it cleaned up the frame. Like I didn't have, boom stand or whatever. But, yeah, I feel like I'm fine with the trade-off.
Totally.
So far, really liking this microphone. As a fellow mic... oh, wait, hang on. Face Flipper. Hey, thanks, BirdDog Tim. Who's on the flight path? I'm pretty sure that's Jake. I don't think this mic would pick up an airplane, but I'm not on the flight path either. Are you on a flight path, Jake? Because we heard an airplane.
Oh, yeah. There's a what is it? The Air Force Base over near us. So sometimes we get the jets practicing some loops overhead.
Gotcha. Hey, I'm sorry if I missed this. BirdDog CJ. Are y'all using Cloud for comms right now or Teams? We're using Cloud for all of this.
Yep.
Yeah. So I used Teams with Eamon on Thursday, and that worked okay. It was noticeably laggy, though. Like, in terms of image quality, it just was like, meh. This image from Jake is way cleaner. And the audio is really tight once we got it working. So, BirdDog Tim, as a fellow mic junkie, anyone old enough to remember the MKH 416 and 816 shotguns?
Yep, this was the replacement for those microphones. Those are great.
Oh, really?
Those were the go-to, film boom mics that are absolutely incredible microphones. But when you need to purchase maybe 6 to 10 of them for remote productions, and you need to send them out with your P100s, that definitely doesn't work.
Let's see if we can find it. Oh man, $1,000.
Yeah.
Dang. Have you guys seen the NTG8? I feel like it's a joke. Is it even on here? This thing. Look at this thing. It's humongous. Look at that windscreen. It's huge.
That's too funny.
There's a guy on YouTube that did a test, and he he like has this huge pole, and he puts it way up on a pole, and then he talks underneath the pole, and he just like keeps raising it higher and higher. He goes like 30 feet or something like that into the air, and he's just talking like this. Does a bunch of rejection tests and whatever, but it's hilarious how huge,
That's awesome.
huge this thing is. This doesn't even like do it justice, but like, because it's hard to like show the actual length. It comes with this like humongous carrying case and everything. Oh man, I would love to just try it, but it's $1,000. It's like just for trying it. I don't need to find a place I can rent it, I guess. The 416 is an awesome mic, says Phil. The latency of conversion is perfect. Agreed, CJ. I used to use the MKH 416 for DCI marching band streaming crowd mics. Oh, cool.
Right on.
That's cool. Good times. So, I mean, this microphone is definitely probably higher quality than an NTG8. Sennheiser just being the name it is, but I'm going to kill Teams here real quick. Yeah, good times. Cool. Let me switch here. All right, so yeah, things are moving along here at BirdDog Support. We're happy to figure out a way to bring people in. I mean, obviously now that cloud is the way that it is, we should be able to bring people in to chat on Twitch. And seriously, it makes it a whole lot better for content. So appreciate you joining me today, Jake. It's been
John.
Yeah, it's been good stuff. It's always nice to have people on, and we will definitely need to do this again. We are past the 12 o'clock hour. We did start 5 minutes late, and that was to fix an audio issue on my side. And then we had to fix an audio issue on Jake's side, so we'll have to sort out what the root of that was so we can iron that out at a later time. But, yeah, so today is Thursday again. That came up quickly. So we are planning on being back on Tuesday. The only catch there is I'm pretty sure my daughter might be with me on Tuesday, so that'll be an interesting show. Maybe I'll let her run the Twitch show, and she's 7, and see how that goes. Oh, and I should also mention, Jake will be right back. I do have... Oh, never mind. Dexy is here. He's officially 12 years old, and so he's around. Let me open Studio Monitor and adjust the camera to the preset so that we can... see him. Where's that camera? That camera is not showing up to Studio Monitor. Interesting. All right. Let's try that again. Oh, and you know what? I have it here on the keyboard. 3. Do I have it here on the keyboard? I thought I did. No. I have the PF120, which isn't on, and then I have the studio again. So, that's strange. Oh, there it is. Okay, it showed up this time. I've got a lot of sources on my network right now. And so, let's jump over here. Dexy is here today. He is, of course, sleeping as normal. There we go. Okay, cool. So, I'll throw him up here real quick. He turned 12 on Tuesday, so he's having a... He's having a good snooze today, and he's hanging out. Dexy, hey. Just gives me the side eye. He doesn't even lift his head up anymore. So, poor guy. But yeah, he's doing well. So he's here. And on Tuesday, I think my daughter will be in the office, but I'm sure she'll just watch some TV show because there is no school on Monday through Wednesday next week for some reason. Of course, my wife has to be there for like PD stuff, but anyways, a couple of PD days. So that's the plan for Tuesday. So if you're hanging around or you want to come back and ask questions, hey, yesterday we were on Tom's show. I wasn't on like visually, but we were hanging out in the chat, and a bunch of people said a whole lot of nice stuff about BirdDog Support, which we really appreciate that if you're watching. But also that the Twitch show is helping make sales, apparently, which was nice to hear. But with that being said, be sure that you let people know that if they have questions and they don't like submitting tickets, which is a thing, apparently, they would rather just ask them in a live scenario. Well, feel free to shoot them over to Twitch here, Tuesday, Thursdays, 11 to 12, typically. And I didn't even put anything on Facebook today. I was running around. So, yeah, we are here twice a week. We try and be available to answer questions, do real live demos, talk about cloud stuff. I can have the SE guys on here now, and they can help us out, explain like use case scenarios for products a whole lot better than I ever can. So we're going to do more of that this year. I've also had interest from the guys over in Melbourne to come on the show, and so now that we can do this and I've got all the scenes set up to just punch them in, that is something we're going to probably do more of. And so, yeah, be sure that you follow the channel, because that will let you know. You can set up your Twitch account to email you or let you know that we're going live, and that's a whole lot more consistent than social media, because sometimes I don't get to social media to post on there that we are on. So if you follow the channel, you set up a Twitch account. Some people just have a Twitch account for this show, which I think is hilarious but also awesome. And so yeah, if you follow the channel, you don't need to subscribe, just follow, and you can set up your notifications to let them know when we do go live. I want to figure out how to do something on this channel for like NAB, if that happens this year, and for both NAB shows, for any of the trade shows that we do. We want to figure out a way to use Twitch for that, so that we can bring you some content from there as well. So yeah, maybe Jake, we should talk about that at a later date as to how we can do that effectively, because the issue is the uploads, right? Like, we'd have to do it over a cell network somehow. So yeah, we'd have to see how that, because the internet at trade shows is just garbage.
Yep.
Which is weird that at a tech trade show, the internet's really bad. I mean, everybody's trying to make money off of it, obviously, but you would think that would be a thing of the past at this point.
Maybe we'll get an Ethernet drop for us at NAB. We'll see if that's in the cards.
Yeah, I mean, I suspect now that cloud is there, we probably need to do something like that. It's just such a heavy price tag for anything that's like respectable. Yep. We did try and do SVG cloud stuff.
We did a hotspot to connect to cloud for some demos that way.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah. There's definitely some workflows that we can figure out for that, because it would.
I've thought about asking those guys, the HQ guys, about just having a hotspot, because sometimes like the internet goes out at this building, not that often, but sometimes, and then when we're on the road, it would be nice to have something that's company owned, but also that then we could do something to cloud at 3 megs. That's pretty standard.
Yep.
Cool. All right. Well, we'll put those irons in the fire and see what happens. But yeah, in the meantime, hey, thanks for hanging out with us today, guys. We really appreciate it. And it is a little after 1:15, so we are going to throw up the color matrix exit video and probably call it a day. Hey, Jake, appreciate it, man. Thanks so much for jumping on and waking up early out there on the west side of the country and joining us today. You have to take a little time off this afternoon.
Yeah, and then just to let everyone else know that if you guys have specific workflow questions before they get over to John's team at support, you can email us at hello@bird-dog.tv.
Yeah, it'll generate an email that the sales guys can see. They can get it in the correct hands of the local salesperson, so you'll get responses like usually during your business day or around that time, instead of waiting on somebody on the other side of the world to wake up and log in and get to your question. So we've got a whole system now set up for sales team. hello@bird-dog.tv is the current email for that. They'll jump on those and get you some answers. And it's great even just to bounce ideas off of,
I was just going to say, if you guys want to just say hello or send us some pictures of your current BirdDog installations. I know CJ and I love checking out what you guys are currently working on, so it would be really great to see that. Yeah,
cool stuff. So yeah, reach out there. Hey, if you got support questions and they come up between now and Tuesday, of course, hit us up at help@bird-dog.tv, which is here in the bottom lower corner, I believe. Help@bird-dog.tv. We can give you a hand there. And in the meantime, please plan to come back on Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern time here in the U.S., and we'd love to have you on and chat with you, find out what you guys are up to, answer your questions that you might have. and go from there. So take care of yourselves. Hey, Jake, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you. Thanks for jumping on the show. And
thanks, John.
We'll see you guys in a few days. Take it easy.